Good day, and I welcome you, participants, on our online training for data handling and management using free and open source software and other geospatial technologies for Cento Agri. Once again, I am Brent Fuller Cuna, staff from Environmental Science for Social Change. Now we're down to our last part number 11. And I'll be showing to you some additional tips that must be considered in creating or editing the training data. Now let's go. I'll be defining what is a training data. Training data is an input for any algorithm or GIS processing. So it must reflect ground conditions or any in situ conditions that you found out when visiting a land cover or a place based from your field surveys. So the concept is garbage in and garbage out. So it means that the quality of training data highly influences and affects the quality of the output maps or any results that we will be deriving from our GIS processing. So any mistakes or any erroneous characteristics that are reflected in your training data will also be reflected in your output maps. So as the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. So this is an example of our of the screenshot of our training data. We have rice paddies here. I think these are residential areas or the barangay or the community proper, presented by built-up surfaces or houses. And we have burnt areas here, somewhat related to sugarcane, since sugarcane requires burning to facilitate easier harvesting. Now, here are the things to consider. You must consider the purity, the size, the distribution, and proportion of your land cover feature. You must have a minimum of 100 features for the main class and 40 to 50 for the minor classes. At least you must have a 45 by 45 meter polygon, but this is somewhat dependent on your field sizes or the boundaries of your land cover or land use. At most, you must have a 1 kilometer in distance between the training features of your training data. Now, when we talk about the purity, size, and distribution, as an example, if you know that a certain municipality is composed of more than 80 to 90% of this cropland or of rice, for example, you have Alicia, which produces the most number or the most kavans of rice in the whole province of Isabela. Since it is composed of 80 to 90% rice, you don't have to worry to put other land cover classes like forest or water or etc. Since you know from the start that it is composed of this percentage of land cover class. In terms of distribution, you must also be careful that what you are putting on the specific area or creating training data on the specific area must follow the proper distribution of that land cover present on the field. When we think about the size, 45 by 45 meter is at least recommended, but since I have told you that this is field size dependent, since there are land cover features that are quite small compared to other land cover features. For example, cassava and cassava and grassland sometimes don't fall within this category or doesn't reach this 45 by 45 meter polygon size. In terms of purity, again, purity is somewhat connected to the proportion or to the initial land cover proportion that you are referring to a certain place. So when we talk about at most 1 kilometer in distance, it means that the nearer the land cover features are with each other, the better. Since since our classification algorithm must capture the real trait or the real characteristics of your land cover using the training data. So again, as I am saying, if you really knew the characteristics of the place or the areas that you are mapping or areas that are assigned to you, you can somewhat tweak these rules. So it depends on the area that you are mapping. For the shape file fields, so we have the crop, the LG, the land cover, the code, the irrigation, and the feature ID. For the crop, most of all of the training features are labeled as 1, since those features that doesn't have number 1 as a value, it will be ignored by the classifier. So by default, it is automatically labeled as 1. For the LC and the code, I'll just show to you the next slide. And for the irrigation, actually it doesn't matter. It's for the purpose of conveniently identifying whether the agricultural area like rice crop is irrigated or not. For the feature ID, you can somehow devise a certain, or you can somehow assign a specific number for us to remember that you are the ones who edited or who put this training data or added this training data. So for convenience purposes, for example, I'm Brent and I want to put an ID of 555 so that the ESSC staff will able to identify you that you're the one who edited this training data. Now for the Isabella classes, I'll just refer to in this portion of our module. So now we designated corn as either yellow or white corn with a code of 12. For rice, we designated it as 13. It could be upland or lowland, irrigated or non-irrigated. Cassava, as we have seen, mostly they serve as a follow crop, so this is a minor land cover class. For sugarcane, most of them are some of them are found in San Mariano area and Santa Maria area. And next is calamansi, mostly found in Aurora. Next is banana. It is located in the middle portion in San Mariano, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Tusoluven. So its code is 99. For bare soil and sediment, they are located near the river mouths and quarry sites. For coconut, we found out that they are located mostly in Palanan, but there are substantial amount of coconut in the rest of the municipalities we're not sure of. For the grassland, they represent the pasture lands or non-farmland. And for the shrubland, it's a midway between the grasses and trees. If you're not sure if it is a grass or a tree or a crop, it can be classified as shrubland. For the forest, we have the primary forest, secondary forest, and ultramafic, and call this the limestone forest. For the land with tree cover, here are the land cover types that are outside the main forested areas or outside the Sierra Madre region. For the built-up surfaces, we can call this as the buildings, municipal and city proper, houses, and other paved land cover features. For the water, mostly rivers, small water impounding projects, or small dams. Sometimes small water bodies. Also, sometimes rice can also be classified as water, or can be classified by Cento Agri as water, since rice is somewhat identified as water due to its irrigation. And lastly, for the mangrove, it is located in the coastline in eastern seaboard municipalities of Isabela. The basis of the land cover types is this: the DNR Memorandum Circular Order 2005-05. So, we open this file. The subject is adopting forestry definition concerning forest cover or land use. So, we somewhat modified this rule or classification scheme to be more adaptable depending on our site. So, if we again open our sample output map for the province of Isabela, we somewhat modified it to fit or to reflect what we have or what ESSC found out from the field. Here. So if we could take a look up of so we'll just zoom this. So here are the classes that we have adopted. So what ESSC has done is to aggregate the annual crops and the perennial crops into several land cover classes. Like, for example, for the cropland, we have corn, rice, sugarcane, and for the perennial crops, we have calamansi, banana, and coconut. Okay, I'll just close some applications here. So, for more information, you can always refer to the DMC of DNR. So, here are the definitions for the natural forests and other definitions. Again, we disaggregated the perennial cropland and the annual cropland. Now, here are the sample images for the different land cover and use features. This is rice, because it is divided or composed of rice paddies, or what we call the spilapil, the edges of rice fields. Excuse me. For the corn, we have this highly colored or brightly colored cornfields, mostly found in Ilagan City, and call this as a mosaic land cover area, since it is composed of different land cover features that doesn't have any definite boundaries with each other. So it depends upon, I think it depends upon the way the farmers have planted these farmlands. For example, the strongly colored ones are corn, and the other features represented by pinheads or more texture land cover, I think, is composed of newly planted or newly planted banana. So there is a mosaic of land cover classes here, and the other land with tree cover are found mostly near the different waterways or small waterways like this. So in this one, if I'm not mistaken, I think it could be either water or rice. This one is, if you saw this type of land cover feature that is dried out or that is dry, it is, I think, grassland. If you're not sure, you can put it as bare soil with sediments, but I think this is a grassland in Babagan. For sugarcane, you can see the coarse-like texture of the feature. So this is sugarcane, mostly found in municipality of Santa Maria. If you want also to, I think, if for reference, you can also visit the Google Earth images of municipality of Tuy, T-U-Y, in Batangas. So it is similar to this land cover feature. This one is coconut. So it's a coconut plantation. So it is similar to oil palm or palm oil plantation, mostly found in Palanin. So underneath the coconut plantation are the grasses. But for this example, we are considering the coconuts as the main land cover type. There are several other land cover features here, like other land with tree cover. But the main, you have to consider that we are referring to the main or the dominant land cover feature, which is the coconut. Here is the bare soil or slash sediments. They originated from the meandering rivers or waterways in Isabela, especially the Cagayan River. It could be somehow related to the sedimentation or the silting process of the lands near the river or near river banks. Somewhat related to soil erosion. And this one, highly colored dark green areas are composed of forests. Could be either secondary or primary. If there are observable disturbances or near agricultural lands, it could be classified as secondary, while primary forests most of the time are located on the highly steep slopes and very, very far away from agricultural areas. This one, in Alicia, is an example of the composed of different land cover types or uses. Like this one is for is corn. Definitely you have a river here. I think rice land here or rice here, and also this one, and scattered or a mosaic of other land with tree cover here, since these trees are located outside the forest. I'm not sure, but I think in the most recent Google image, I think there are some construction that have been going on for a long time. So this could be a residential area, or I don't know, but this could be classified now as built up surfaces. This one is mangrove areas. located near the estuaries and rivers. So that's all. Sometimes the images that you will be seeing on the Google Earth images are not updated, so it's up to you whether you will change or add additional or updated training data. Since field knowledge or field expertise somewhat trumps the information that we are referring to, or that we are deriving from the satellite image. So it would take some time to master the interpretation of Google Earth images, but it would help a lot if you know the real land cover feature on your designated areas that you are mapping to. So that's all. Thank you. This lecture slide is also included near the videos that we are uploading. That's all. Thank you, and we'll see you again. Or if you have any questions, don't forget to post it or to message ESSC, concerned ESSC staff. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again.